Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Quiet Fire podcast. Today's episode is one that I've been thinking about for a long time. It's one of those truths and paths of life that we don't really talk about because, well, it feels like it shouldn't be true. But it is, and it's this. Sometimes growing, healing, evolving, leveling up, whatever you want to call it, can feel incredibly lonely. Not because you're doing it wrong, but because you're doing it differently. When we get to a point in life where we're no longer following the general trajectory that everybody else around us is following, we don't always have a large community as a support system that's going along the same paths that we are. So if you've ever felt isolated in your own progress, today's episode is for you. If you've ever wondered why changing your life can feel more painful than rewarding in the beginning, if you've ever looked around and thought, why does this hurt more than it helps right now? Let's sit with that. You know that feeling when something inside you starts to change? Maybe it's subtle at first. You start waking up earlier. You stop responding to texts that drain you. You begin choosing quiet over chaos, boundaries over burnout, growth over comfort. And then, without meaning to, you realize something. Your relationships feel a little off. The conversations that used to energize you now feel surface level. The places you used to go to escape now feel loud or empty. Even your hobbies, your playlists, your wardrobe, somehow they don't fit the way they used to. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just leveling up, choosing a new way of living that serves the version of you that you are now. And in the process, you've stepped outside the version of your life that was built for an earlier version of you. Because what was meant for you then isn't always what's meant for you now. But with all of this said, here's the hard part. When you grow, you often outgrow things, places, and people. Sometimes that happens gently, and sometimes that happens abruptly. And it's really easy to feel guilty about that. To worry that pulling back makes you a bad friend, that wanting more means you think you're better, that choosing peace means you're abandoning the people who knew you when you were in pieces. But growing isn't arrogance, it's alignment. You're not better than anyone, you're just different now, and that's allowed. You're allowed to crave deeper connections and conversations. You're allowed to want relationships that challenge and nourish you. You're allowed to say, this version of me needs something else, something I didn't need before. It's not about blaming anyone, but it's more about choosing to stop betraying yourself, to stay comfortable. Because when we are comfortable, we often take that as ease. Comfort means things stay simple and stay easy, and it means that we're not choosing to risk what we don't have because we don't feel the need to do so. But if we do that, we're not serving our present selves, we are serving our past selves, and our past selves aren't always having the same needs and desires that our present selves do. And sometimes that takes risk, and that means challenge, and that means going through the difficult things. Because it's not always easy, but it is comfort. One of the loneliest parts of growth is the in-between. When you've let go of the old, moved on from the old chapter, said your goodbyes, but the new hasn't arrived yet. You're no longer clinging to what has drained you, but you haven't quite found what fills you either. It's this weird aching space of not yet. You can feel untethered, like everyone around you is moving forward in ways you aren't, or ways you can't relate to anymore. And you start to wonder if maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you should go back. Maybe comfort was enough. Maybe being safe was the better option. But listen, if being safe was the better option, you wouldn't have the desire to move forward from it. The empty space is not a mistake. It's a sacred pause. It's where new roots form. It's where you build the resilience to hold what's next. If you rush to fill it, you might miss what it's trying to teach you. And let's be honest, and this one is something that might hurt. Not everyone will celebrate your growth. Some people will feel left behind. Others might feel threatened, because if you can change, They might have to reckon with the parts of themselves that haven't. And some just won't get it. They'll say you've changed, like it's an accusation. What they really mean is, you're not making me comfortable anymore. The version of you that is considered safe is the version that I like, and therefore, this is not safe anymore. And that's okay. You're not responsible for carrying everyone with you. You're responsible for being honest with yourself. It's not selfish to protect your energy. It's not rude to leave spaces that don't serve you anymore. It's not dramatic to walk away from something that's slowly dimming your light. And it's also not necessarily being lonely. Because, see, I want to make a distinction here. Loneliness can be painful. It feels like absence, emptiness, sometimes a sense of a loss. But being alone is not necessarily the same thing as being lonely, because being alone can be powerful. Being alone says, I'm with myself now. I'm here to understand myself and what I need to move forward in a way that serves me. When you're leveling up, you might, and honestly most probably, will have to spend more time alone. But you'll also hear your own voice more clearly. You'll remember what you love, what you believe, what you want your life to look like. And when you reconnect with that, you stop needing to fill every silence with noise and fill empty rooms with people, and allow yourself to build a life that you want for yourself. Because you stop chasing people who never really saw you, and you begin to build a life that fits the person that you're becoming, not the person that you've outgrown. And so if you're in that lonely part of leveling up right now, I hope you know that you are not broken, you are not too much, you are not making things harder than they need to be, but you are brave. Because simply all it is that it is brave to choose growth when stagnation could be easier. It is brave to leave a life behind that made sense but didn't make you happy. It is brave to say, I don't know where I'm going yet, but I know I can't stay here. And I promise you this, the loneliness won't last forever. Eventually you will find people who match the version of you that you've been becoming. People who see you, really see you, not as you were, but as you are, and the potential that you have. And when you meet them, you'll be so glad that you didn't shrink back into who you used to be, just to be loved and seen, because you will be by the right people. And so, if this season feels quiet, feels difficult, if your group chat doesn't hit the same, if your calendar feels emptier than usual, know that there is nothing wrong with you. You're in the process of realigning, rebuilding, rewriting the story of what your life is allowed to feel like. Let the loneliness remind you of how far you've come, and let it soften you, not harden you. You are leveling up, not just in what you do, but in how you show up for yourself. And that matters more than any audience, any applause, and any approval. So take heart, you are not alone in this, and the next chapter is already on its way. Thanks for being here today. And as always, don't forget, you're amazing, you are loved, and I thank you for being here.